is Real Talk Baseball and Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange, and we have a lot of baseball to talk about. Of course, our title is Power Rankings, and it took us a while to get here, but we're going to do it. And hopefully, you guys are agreeing with us. And if you guys don't agree, go in the comment section and put everything on there so we can debate it and we can let you know why we have them there. Ernie, how's it going, dude?
Hey, we're excited to be back. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We're really excited to be here this Sunday night talking baseball, power rankings. I know it's month of April, but it's beautiful to start looking at where does your team fall in those 30 teams, right? It's beautiful to see, does your team even have a chance to make the playoffs? So it's exciting. A lot of baseball talk today.
Definitely do it. Did you see the Cubs and Phillies? It looked like a playoff atmosphere game. It's a Sunday night game. It's the only game that's at 4 o'clock. So that's pretty exciting. I didn't think that it should have gone extra innings. There's a lot of opportunities for the Phillies to win it right off the bat. The Cubs had chances too, and it went extra innings. But what'd you think, dude?
That was a great game, man. The Phillies are showing why they're the top team in the NL East sometimes. And right now, they've been a little bit shaky. They've been a bit inconsistent with their offense. Their bullpen has been iffy here with Jordan Romano closing the games. This is a much-needed win for this Phillies team to go forward for the rest of the season. They desperately needed this win in this series against this hot Cubs team that's been playing great baseball lately offensively.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into it, man. We do have the power rankings, but there's other news too that's been happening around the league, and it's pretty crazy, dude. A lot of fans out there has been the controversy of things out in the baseball fields. We've been talking about umpires all this time, right? And now we're talking about fans. And it's crazy, dude. Three different players had some issues. And the most recent one was Jaron Duran today. A fan called him out, started saying things about his suicidal part of the story in the Netflix series. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you do. You get to see a lot of things that the players go through throughout the season. But Jaron Duran didn't like that, dude. And as a fan, you need to understand and you need to respect the human being. At the end of the day, he is human, So, dude, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. You feel for Jaron Duran because he opened up something really serious about his life, his past. And it sucks that these fans are doing it just for the clout. They're trying to get this popularity, they're trying to get attention, and it's not cool, man. Like you said, there was 3 incidents this week. Jaron Duran definitely does not deserve this. He let it be known that this was not cool, and he's gonna beat somebody up if they want to say it to his face.
Yeah.
This fan definitely deserves to be suspended. Should not be banned from every MLB stadium going forward. There's no need for this type of nonsense in the MLB stadium. There's a lot of kids in this type of game watching, listening, and you're not really trying to teach these young generation about treating this players the way it is. So it's a sucky situation because Jaron Duran really is a special, talented player, and every time you see him in the field, he proves that he's that 5-tool caliber player. He brings the speed, the bat, the fielding. He has it all in his arsenal.
Yeah.
So it sucks to see that even fans are, man, it was really upsetting watching that. And we had another incident with the NFL draft where people were prank calling. That was also not cool, man. It's really getting annoying with this situation. Every time here and there, you get those fans just acting up, man. And it really ruins the game and the fun part of it. So I don't know. You want to talk about the other situations now we have? We had the Tommy fan. We had the Max Muncy situation too.
Dude, the Max Muncy one was kind of crazy, man. He was, if you haven't seen the video, he was stepping out of the stadium and going into the bus. Happened in Chicago, and it sounds like it's a Dodger fan screaming at him that he sucks. And Max Muncy, he has been struggling throughout the year. He hasn't started hitting the way we've seen Max Muncy hit. He's been striking out a lot. He hasn't put the ball in play, and he hasn't walked. So this fan took it upon himself to scream at him and tell him he sucked, and he started using the F word. Started dropping a lot of F-bombs. And of course, as a baseball player, that is walking to the bus and he hears that, you usually just shrug it off and, leave it alone. But Max Muncy didn't look like that, man. He turned around, he looked at the fan, and he had a staring contest, and you can still hear the fan going off. And there was other fans telling them, like, stop, man, relax. Like, what the hell's your problem? So it's just crazy that that's happening throughout the whole, MLB, because it's not just these 3 players. There's more players that this is happening to. But, the one in Angel Stadium, you want to go through that one?
Yeah, there was this incident where Tommy Pham goes to field the ball by left field pole. A fan decides to touch Tommy Pham's back with a baseball glove. Tommy Pham doesn't appreciate that. And if you don't want to mess with Tommy Pham, this is a one MLB player you should probably avoid touching. And sure enough, this Angel fan or Pirates fan, whoever it was, decided to, say something to him after the play. And Tommy Pham didn't really like it. He made an interesting gesture to the fan, which caused him to get fined. And is he suspended for this situation? I think he is suspended.
I think so.
It was one of those where Tommy Pham also has to control himself. The fan didn't mean to touch him, but at the same time, put your hands inside. Don't reach for the ball if it's going into play. So, man, it's a tough weekend for MLB fans. They were not acting their best behavior. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
they were being a little bit wild this weekend.
Yeah, they were. And you know what? I just wanted to say, since we're on this segment, that if we want to see more, programs, more shows, more things that have to do with the baseball player, we have to be respectful in that regards. Because like Ernie said in the beginning, Jaron Duran doesn't have to tell us what he went through. That he decided to say it and let it all out so the people can see what the baseball player goes through, what the struggles are, what is he dealing mentally besides baseball, So in order for this to continue and for us to see the background and to see all that stuff that happens outside the game, we have to respect these players and we need to treat them like humans so we can go ahead and get these shows for us. Because imagine me seeing that as a kid, I will be more into baseball, dude. So, so I'm just saying, like, if they take these shows away, if Netflix decides to be like, you know what, no other team wants to sign, no other team wants to have cameras around while we're talking about personal stuff because fans are being rude, then of course, man, I'm gonna be like, hell no, it sucks. I'm gonna be mad because we ruined this, and it's something that we should be kind of embracing, like, and kind of pushing to have more of, because we want to know these players. We want to know what they go through, dude.
Right, exactly. And at first glance, when you see Jaron Duran go towards a fan, I saw a lot of people talking crap about Duran, saying that, he should be more of a professional type player. But once it all came out that it was talking about his suicidal attempt, everybody just backed up and said, you know what? I can see why Jaron Duran, got really upset. And he had to prove a point. There should be no other reason why another fan decides to make another comment going forward. And this should just be the end of it. He was just trying to bring suicidal awareness about how it all happens on a daily basis here in this world. And, Jaron Duran opened up and there's no reason for a fan to do this, and he should be fan.
Dude, going back to that depression state, because you already dealt with it and someone's taunting you or making fun of you or bullying you for it, it could bring back that feeling. So they need to watch out with Jaron Duran right now, man, because if these fans are bringing that up, he's in his head right now. He's thinking about it. Hopefully he's not, he needs support right now. Hopefully that support is there for him. But he didn't need support on Saturday because look what he did, dude. He stole home plate. Look at how good that looks, man. And I think that's why they taunted. They taunted him and they went after him today in Cleveland. Because
that was a beautiful play. That was right. That's a perfect way to steal home.
Yeah. And he stole it off a lefty. Like, I think it's easier to steal off a lefty because he has the back towards you. So, kids, if you guys are seeing this, this is the perfect way to be on your toes. If you're on base and your coach is telling you to be on your toes, this is the way to do it. A lot of kids are flat foot and they're just out there waiting for the ball to pass the catcher so they can take second or third. No, you need to be like this in every base. You need to be like this in first, second, even third, because you never know. And him being on those toes, and that's a perfect example of how to be on your toes. Jaron Duran did it perfectly, dude.
Oh, so, yeah, man. I feel like I'm getting coached right now. I feel like I'm ready to steal home myself. Let's do it.
Be on your toes. Be on your toes. All right. So let's go to the next one, man. This one's the Giants are tied with the most wins in the MLB. Not the best record, but the most wins. And this is how they won today.
Taps this one to third. And he throws it down the right field line. Roberts is on the move. And he is going to stop. No, now he's going to go to third. Here's the throw. It gets by him. Here comes Ramos. This game is over.
That was bad. What a terrible day for the Ranger fans. This must have been miserable watching your team lose on a walk-off error home run. What do you call this?
A little league home run. This is a little league home run. That's what it is.
Yeah, that was poor. And you're talking about Helio Ramos, one of the slowest guys in the Giants lineup. You saw how he was running towards second. The guy was already stopping. He decided to go to third, which was a mistake of his part. And then you have another mistake by the Rangers first baseman that just gives the game away. It's a tough day for Ranger fans. Back-to-back games where you lose on a walk-off. It wasn't the series they expected. And the Giants are now sitting pretty in first place. And on top of the Dodgers and Padres. Who would have seen that coming on the last weekend of April? This is a beauty thing about baseball. You did mention that the Giants would be a sleeper team, a big surprise. Props to you, Carlos. You called it, and I didn't expect that to happen this soon. Buster Posey made the right moves this year, bringing Willie Adames, defensive fielder, and it's looking great out there. They're winning in the small ways, but can they stay consistent? That's going to be the next question for the next couple months, but what an exciting weekend if you're a Giants fan and watching your team win in a little league home run like that.
Dude, I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong right now. I don't want the Giants to keep winning, but they're playing good baseball. They're doing what they need to do. They're playing small ball. They're getting ahead in the bases. They're getting the pitcher nervous when they're on base. They're doing the little things that they weren't doing before. So they're getting these little base hits. They're getting these things going. And it's good for them, dude. It's actually working. So, what else, dude? Let me change this thing. There we go.
We got Neto saying that Giants have more walk-off wins than the Rockies have wins this season.
Damn.
That's tough, man. I feel bad for Rocky fans. He's saying they've been getting lucky. We got Chicks Who Love Baseball. Padres sure are pretty quiet after they lost the first spot. They had a tough weekend, Losing to the Rays is not what you were expecting in San Diego this weekend. But what a weekend, man. You're talking about this Giants team. That pitching has been great. Justin Verlander's back to his old form. Giving enough inning supports for their bullpen and, enough runs to win the game. They're not scoring a lot of runs, but they're doing just enough to win, even if it means winning by a single run.
Definitely. All right, man. Let's jump into the power rankings as we're talking about teams and we're talking about what is it that these teams are going to be doing in the future. But these are our power rankings. We're going to go from 30 all the way down to number 1. And number 1, it'll be a surprise, or wouldn't it be a surprise? I'm not sure. We'll see what we have. But let me change the page here so we can have everything showing. And here it is. Let's go ahead and start. So let's start with number 30, man. Who do we have on number 30?
I think one of our listeners, Neto, here just told us should be number 30. It is the Colorado Rockies. They're not playing well offensively. Defensively, they're looking bad. And pitching-wise, man, they do not have any answers to close out any of these type of games. It's been a tough year for this Rocky team. It's looking even worse than last season's White Sox. You're talking about an owner that did not spend all offseason complaining about the salary cap, and they're sitting quietly in last place right now.
Dude, they traded away Nolan Arenado. Why did they do that? They went and signed Chris Bryant, and he hasn't been on the field that much. So that man is complaining about what? What is he complaining about? So I just feel like the Rockies didn't do enough in the offseason. They haven't done anything in the past 2 years. They haven't done anything to develop players. They haven't traded anybody. So them at 30 right now makes a lot of sense. 4 wins in the season out of 27 games. That's not right. That's
4-23. That is a bad start. I have not seen a bad start like that in a long time. I thought those White Sox were bad. This is bad.
Yeah, this is bad. So let's go, man. Let's move on to number 29. And
I think we both could agree the White Sox is the next team up next. The White Sox are sitting at 7 wins, if not my mistaken, 7 wins and 21 losses. They're also struggling offensively. They look better than last season, but
they do.
It's a team that still needs a lot of work, and the development is still there. But most of the young players, they brought up a catcher like Edgar Cuero. That looks like catcher. Potential's there, man, but it's still a long time before we see them in the mix. So, poor White Sox,
Poor White Sox, but they're not the last team. They're doing what they need to do to win games. They won 7. Will Venable won that first game against the Angels. And remember, the White Sox were all excited. We got the first win. We're over 500. And so the very first game, they were above 500. So let's give it up to them. They did a little bit of movement. They traded away their players. They still need to move one more player. They probably cash out with that player, Robert. So once that happens, if that happens this year, I think the White Sox are on their way to try to make a run in the next few years. But yeah, they still need to do more stuff before they start moving up and start racking up those wins. Let's move on to the next one. And this one, I think we both agree on this one. We have the Marlins at 28. And the reason why we have them there is because they traded away a lot of players, dude. Every year they have players, they develop them right, and they trade them off. Once they hit that 5 year, they start trading players off. And what one franchise is going to win that way? There's never been a franchise. Well, actually, let me take those words back, because the Marlins did win in '97 with players that come from the minor leagues, and then in '03. So, so they know how to develop players, though.
They definitely know how to develop players. They develop great pitching. They still have Sandy Alcantara, which is the last great remaining piece. You got Uri Perez as maybe coming back from injury. They have the pieces, Carlos, but it's still not there, man. They have players like Xavier Edwards, a nice shortstop there. They have those pieces. It's going to take time. They're 12-15. Surprisingly, they're playing much better than we all expected. Offensively, they're playing better than other teams, but they still need definitely help with their pitching. Their bullpen needs a lot of help. And it's a team that will little by little get better as we go by. But as of now, they're sitting pretty at 28.
You know what? It sucks that they're at 28 with that record, but you have to also take into account what players are there and how consistent they're going to be. So at 28, I think it sounds correct. All right, let's move to the next one. And this one's a little bit, it's going to hurt a little bit. So I'll go ahead and put it there, and I'll let you talk about this one.
Well, number 27, I think we would say my Angels fall at 27. We had a strong start to the season, but the past couple weeks, we've been terrible. Offensively, we just can't bat these days. And their last, man, let me look this up. But in the last 10, we're 3-7, Carlos. We got swept by the Twins in Minnesota. We lost 2 out of 3 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's not looking pretty. Our pitching's back to its old ways. We were off to a great start. The hype was real in the first 2 weeks, but it's over, man. And we're back to being the Angels of old. Mike Trout, he's hitting bombs, but he only hits when he's by himself, when there's no runners on base. Zach Neto looks promising. Logan O'Hoppe is promising as well, but there still needs a lot of work to be done, and there's just not enough talent yet. And the kid, they're still very young, and it's going to take a couple of years before we start making some playoff noise.
Dude, and when I did the solo show, I talked about the Angels, and you told me like, oh, I don't want to talk about the Angels because I don't want to start the bad luck. Hey, it happens. It's baseball. Just like they get into this streak of losing games, they could get into a streak of winning games. So hopefully the Angels do that. So let's go to the next one. 26, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Pittsburgh Pirates only have one consistent pitcher, dude, Paul Skeens.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate, man. It's one guy that just pitches one of every 5 games, and Paul Skeens comes in there and gets that automatic win, or sometimes he doesn't because he does not have enough offensive support. He's sitting in a 3-2 record right now. 2 of those losses come because he had not got enough run support from this Pirate offense. They look pretty good this week, though. O'Neal Cruz, man, he is playing at a level I've never seen any other player play. His bat off speed is crazy, man. The way he swings that bat. He's impressive, and that guy's going to be a future all-star in this game.
Yeah, I agree, dude. And not only that, but they do have a 3.98 as a team ERA, and that's number 14. So if they keep going that way and they can spark some hitting along the way, then I think they'll be able to move up in the Central. And the Central is up for grabs, the second place part, because I know the Cubs are taking off with it. And, I mean, even though they lost today, I think the Pirates for sure are a promising team if they decide to spend a little bit of money too, because they have to. If they don't spend no money, then that's a problem. Would they spend money? So, all right, let's go to the next one, man. We got the Cardinals at 25, a little bit ahead of the Pirates. And why do we did that? Why did we do that?
The Cardinals deserve to be the 25. It's a team that's definitely still needs a lot of work. They didn't really had a quiet off season, and unfortunately, right now, they're not playing the best of baseball. They're 12-16. Nolan Arenado did have that walk-off this week, which is pretty nice, but this Cardinal team needs still a lot of work. The pitching's not there. And the talent around there just hasn't developed. We have guys like Nars Nurbar, Jordan Walker, Victor Scott. They show flashes of greatness, but then there's their weeks where they don't show nothing. It's hard to see where this team is heading right now, but they definitely have to develop their young core if they want to win going forward.
They're pitching that's at number 21 with a 4.36. So if they want to get a little bit better, they need to get better pitching. And they're hitting, like I said, they're hitting at the beginning of the season. No one expected them to be a little bit higher and get those wins. So 25 sounds good for me. I don't think they should move from there unless they start, pitching a lot better. I think they'll be a little bit more competitive. But dude, I feel like we're gonna have a lot of Central teams down here in the bottom, man. And that's how it is, right? That's how it is. So we'll just continue. We're at number 24. We got the Twins. There we go. Let me put him here. Is this working for you? This is good.
Yeah, it's definitely 24 is the Twins. It's a clear favorite. They've had the best start to the season. There have been some rough starts from some of their starting rotation, like Chris Paddock, Joe Ryan, Bailey Over. There's been mixed emotions about them, how they started this season. Yeah. Offensively, they've also been seeking answers with no Royce Lewis and the corner infield. It's a Twins team that looked great this weekend against the Angels, but then again, it was the Angels. When you match them up with any other team, we'll see. They had a pretty easy week this week facing the White Sox and Angels, so it was a nice week for the Minnesota Twins. I'm curious to see how they perform against the Guardians coming up in this series.
That's crazy because the Guardians have these the Central's numbers. When they play the White Sox, though, for some reason, when the White Sox had those great teams, the Cleveland Guardians always beat them, dude. And the Twins and the Guardians has always gone at it, so it's going to be a good series, I think. The Twins do have a low ERA compared to other teams that are down here. They're 10th in the league with a 3.64 as a team. So that's a good thing, man. But when you go to the hitting, and that's where they have their struggles, like you said. When you look at what they're hitting, they're all the way down here at 27. So when they're at 27 hitting and your pitching's at 10, you're not giving your pitchers enough run support, and that's what sucks. So I mean, can they move up? They can. If they beat the Guardians, I think they'll be on their way. But they need to start hitting, dude. They need to start hitting. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 23, we got the A's.
Yeah, this Oakland. Wow, Sacramento A's, Athletics A's.
Yeah.
They've definitely been much more impressive this season. I'm talking about a rookie sensation like Jacob Wilson that's been playing lights out, stays getting on base. You have, special players like Brent Rooker, Shea Langoliers, and Tyler Soderstrom. They're looking really promising for the future. It's a team that still finds themselves struggling a little bit with the pitching rotation. Luis Severino has been playing okay. He has to certain matchups. I definitely think it affects the pitching on that field, and Sacramento's definitely hurting the pitchers. The ball's just flying there, Carlos, and
it does.
That ball definitely travels, and it's not good for a pitcher. So it's a hitter's ballpark. So they're sitting right now at a record of 14-14. Wow,
500 ball.
Did you see the A's playing 500 ball right now?
I didn't, but they started spending money. Okay. That's what it is. They started spending money, and I think with Severino leading that charge and beating the A's of that staff, I think he needs to do a little bit more, because they are sitting at 25 with a 4.46 ERA. That's not going to help with the hitting that they have. They're going to be matching up home runs, and that hitter's park. They need to go ahead and start, pitching a lot better than what they are right now. But at 23, I think it's fine for them to be there. I do expect them to make some trades if they start playing 500 ball, because they're not so far away from the Rangers and the Mariners. The Mariners can fall off. They have a lot of hitting. I mean, a lot of pitching, but that hitting is a little suspect. So, okay. I think it's a little up for grabs. I'm just saying. Well, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. We got Neto here in the chat saying that the A's play special on Thursday night. They hit a walk-off, which was nice. A Jacob Wilson single to win the game. And today, they actually had another walk-off. So 2 walk-offs in a week for the Sacramento A's. Luis Urias, Mexican-born player, hit a bomb out of the stadium. What was it out the stadium? But it feels that way because there's like a warehouse in back of the stadium. It's pretty crazy. But 2 walk-offs for the A's team. And now they're sitting at 500 ball, playing 14-14. Yeah, I didn't see this coming. I had a feeling that they're heading towards that direction. But if they stay consistent like that, I see them finishing 81-81 for sure.
Yeah, that's a good call. Let's move on to number 22. And why do we have them ahead of the A's? Why do we have them ahead of a team that's 500? I'll tell you why. Because their vision is a lot stronger than it is in the West. And this is where we start looking at teams, what divisions they're playing, what teams they're facing. They're facing teams that are the Yankees. They're facing teams like the Red Sox. And, this weekend by itself, like, what happened, dude? What happened to the Orioles? Are the Orioles going to continue playing this bad?
It's not looking good.
No,
First of all, their pitching has been really terrible. They can't get it together.
no.
Offensively, this young core who was once known for their power and their hitting has just their bat's been quiet, Carlos. You're talking about Gunnar Henderson, a guy that had a really good MVP type season last year. He's batting 218 with 2 home runs. Adley Rutschman is trying his best. Jackson Holiday hasn't really been the promising player yet. And you got Colton Cowser, the rookie sensation from last year, being out with an injury. This is not looking pretty. They're sitting at 10-17 in last place with one of the worst records in the American League. We did not see this coming. And this is a reason why MLB, it's really tough to play in this game. And pitching matters. And this is the main reason. I'm not sure it's looking pretty for this Oriole organization. I feel like the GM and manager are probably on their way out pretty soon if they can't continue to have success.
Dude, and the other show did say that they traded for Corbin Burns and they didn't sign him. You know who his replacement was? Charlie Morton. You kidding me? Charlie Morton took over that staff, and at age 40, I don't know, 41, 42. I don't know how old he is. He's pretty old.
He's 40.
They have the worst ERA, 5.37. Out of all the 30 teams, they're all the way down there. So the Orioles were one of those promising teams, dude, that I saw that we're going to be consistent. But we've been saying since we started this podcast, the Orioles need to have better impressions, and they don't have it. They don't have the right mentality in that coaching staff right now. They don't have the right mentality on the field, and they need to go ahead and get a pitcher that's going to take the ace role and take them, to the next level. And I don't see that right now. That's why they're sitting so low, but they are sitting on top of other teams because of their division. So, anything you want to add to the Orioles?
Yeah, Neto's saying that they did win a matchup earlier in a couple weeks ago. They won 24-2. They show flashes why they're that great offensive team, but as a team, they're batting 226. Adley Rutschman's batting 209. Ryan Mountcastle 215. Jackson Holiday 243. Their home run leader is Cedric Mullins, who has 6 home runs. This is a guy that was almost not even making the lineup a couple years back. That was almost on his way out.
That's true.
I'm not sure what's going on, man. Unfortunately, they brought in Tyler O'Neill. He's just went to the IL. He also has lost his pop. He only has 2 home runs this season. And, he was very promising on day one, hitting a home run again. But this is not looking great. If you're a listener, Jamal, out there, we feel for you, man. And, this Oriole team will wake up soon. But it's not looking pretty to start this month of April.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next one. And on 21, we have the Brewers. And what can I say about the Brewers, man? The Brewers, I try to watch their games. I try to understand what is it that they're doing. What is it that their hitting's like, their pitching. And I cannot find a way for them to win the Central Division with the team that they have. Their bullpen is not lights out like it was a year ago. And now to be honest, this year, I just don't see a lot from Milwaukee, man. I don't.
Okay. I could totally agree, but they're special talented players. Let me bring up some players that have been playing really well. We got Bryce Turang playing in second, and he's been a second-year type guy, hitting over 350 right now. He's doing the small things leading off for that team. You got Jackson Chourio, who's also been very promising. You got a veteran like Christian Jelic. Man, this team could do better if they had their healthy pitching. They lost Nestor Cortez, which I'm not sure how much of an impact he does, but that's another arm in the starting rotation, which is crucial. You got Brandon Woodruff coming back from injury, which would make a huge impact, but we're not sure what we're going to get from him coming from the IL. So, man, after losing Devin Williams last year, you would have thought this over, but bullpen-wise, they could do better. They're finding young arms in there, trying to find their next Devin Williams, their next Josh Hader. That's what they do. They develop these closers. They'll find a guy that will come up and take over.
All right. So these 10 right here, do you feel like they could change or they could turn anything around at this point?
Yeah. Well, at this moment right now, you're talking about an Orioles team offensively has it. The Ace could get hot any moment, and it could take on the West if they wanted to. But the Brewers, being that they're in an easy division, they could easily climb up and finish second in that division. So It's still too early. When I first saw the first weekend in the Brewers, I was like, man, after they got swept by the Yankees to start the season, I really thought it was over for them. Like, that, they don't have nothing, but they bounced back and they're playing much better. So give them props for at least being a number 21. I mean, I don't think we saw them even being that top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. And you know what's crazy, dude? I think I still have that image of the Yankees beating up on the Brewers. I honestly still feel like, oh man, when are they going to play the Yankees again? And they only play them once. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. So it's a good thing for the Brewers, because if you guys didn't know, we talked about it this last, what was it? Beginning of the season, how many runs they scored in 5 games. They scored 56 runs against the Brewers. So that's a good thing for the Brewers, you know. So if they want to identify themselves, I think this is it right here. They need to identify themselves with what they have. And, you know, the veteran Yelich, he needs to start stepping up. Freddie Peralta is another pitcher that needs to start stepping up as well. So once Nestor Cortez, he will be something that he's going to bring to that clubhouse. What is it? We don't know yet. They need to identify themselves. All right, let's go into the 20. We reach our 20, and that's where we put the Nationals. And the Nationals are surprising a lot of people. And why are they surprising a lot of people? Because they're finally starting to win. They're starting to show the young players that they have, the young core that they traded for all these years that they haven't been all that good. And it's been 3 years since they won the World. No, they won the World Series in 2019, I believe, right? So
Yeah.
since then, we haven't seen the Nationals make a lot of movement. Remember, Strasburg was part of that team, and he got nerve-ending damage, so he's retired. He's not part of that. They're still paying that contract. So they started training away their players, and they started getting this young core, and we're starting to see it. And they won their series this weekend. I think that's a good thing, dude.
I mean, they almost essentially beat the best team in baseball maybe right now, the Mets, with the best record. They had 2 walk-off wins against them. They were down 6 runs today. They found a way to win. That's a scrappy win from a young Nationals team. You're talking about guys like C.J. Abrams, James Wood, Dylan Cruz. They're finally showing flashes of why they should be in this MLB, and they're definitely going in the right places. Now, you add pitching, Mitchell Parker, Mackenzie Gore. I'm sorry, but these guys were not talked about much last season. They showed flashes here and there, but this year they're looking like the true aces going forward for this team, and guys that must get paid to continue winning and having a success for this Washington Nationals. Hey, man, if you're a Nationals fan, there's something to see there, and you should go support, because when you have special talent like James Wood, man, he's looking really solid. Yeah. Every time that guy goes up to a bat, he could crush a ball. That ball leaves the ballpark. And then you got a veteran like Josh Bell, who looks just like him, and they both rake, man. It's pretty to see. I'm really happy for this Nationals team. It's a team that I like to support because I feel like they're really underdogs, not really talked about. And, you know, being at number 20 right now, they're sitting at 13 and 15, right? But they're only 6 games behind they're not behind the Phillies, are they? They're behind the Mets, and they've already took 2 out of 3 this weekend, at home, which was a really impressive win.
So they're behind the Phillies because the Phillies won today. So it's the Mets, Phillies, and Washington. They're ahead of the Atlanta Braves, which was one of our picks to be battling for that division, which is crazy. But Gilbert Reese is another player that I want to mention because he's controlling the pitching. And remember when Mackenzie Gore started the season with 13 Ks against the Phillies, and they beat the series against the Dodgers. Now they beat the series against the Mets. So this is a team to watch out for. I don't think they're going to sit at 20 for very long. So I think it's a good thing that we're talking about them right now.
Definitely. It's a team that you wouldn't be surprised if they move to the top 15.
I agree. All right. Yeah, I agree. Let's go to the next one, man. And I don't know if you guys are going to agree with this one, but the Braves have won 7 of their last 9. They've been playing a lot better baseball. They started the season 0-8, and I think at 19 they're good. They were sitting a little bit lower. They were probably in 25, or probably all the way at the bottom at 30 when the season started. So for them to go all the way to 19, I think it's good. They're not playing better than the Nationals, or they're playing a little bit better than the Nationals only because they have been playing good baseball, and they're going to have a tough test against the Dodgers later on this next weekend, and we'll see if they're already up to where they need to be. I think Ronald Acuna is coming back next weekend. I believe. I thought I read something, but I think it's a good spot for them right now. They moved a lot of spots. 19. Do you like that one?
It's kind of interesting because you see a Braves team right now with the same record as a Marlins, sitting at 12 and 15, tied for last place. But it's a Braves team that's way more talented than the Marlins team. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're finally finding their groove again. With the return of Sean Murphy, and even though Spencer Strider pitched one game, that was very promising. And with Acuna coming back, they're finding their groove again. And it's only a matter of a time before we see this Braves team back in the mix for the wild card. It's still too early. They're only 3 games under 500, and it looks like a team that's still going to be the first team to make the postseason, starting the season 0-8. So
yeah, and you know what? With Strider hitting back into the IL, once he comes back, he's going to help with that ERA, because that ERA is not looking good. He's at 24 out of the 30 teams at a 4.42. That's not good. If they want to go ahead and make some noise, they have to start pitching a lot better. They have Schwallen back. They got Chris Sale, which Chris Sale has not been pitching all that great either. He's been giving up a lot of runs. So we'll see what happens in the future. I think it's a little too early, but like I said, this is our first power ranking of the year. And if you don't agree with the stuff we have so far, just put it on the message and let us know, man. So let's move on to number 18. And the number 18, this team just swept a big team, and that's why they're moving up. And this team is actually the Tampa Bay Rays, dude. They swept the Padres. They're in the East, AL East. What are they doing, dude? What are they doing?
Hey, well, they're doing the right things. They're winning when they're supposed to. Chandler System has been a great spark for them, bringing the speed on the bases, defensively, robbing home runs from the Padres. It was a beautiful weekend for them. Shane Boss looks like the real deal, and Ryan Pepio shows flashes of being great. This team is heading in the right direction. That's what they best do. They develop pitching just like no other team does. And offensively, they find sneaky ways to win. So I think they deserve to be there at number 18 after this sweep against the Padres, which is a great one for them this week.
Kevin Cash, man, he's still the manager there. He's been the manager for the Tampa Bay Rays since 2018, and he's been doing wonders with that team. So if you think that players are just coaching themselves and they do everything on the field, no, you got to look at the manager. Kevin Cash is one of the top managers that's won the manager of the year for a reason. So this is the reason why, and I think they're going to be a team, I don't think this year, but a team to be reckoned with maybe next year. And if they make it this year to where they're pushing the buttons on the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Blue Jays, I think they're going to climb up a lot bigger into the power rankings. Let's move on to the next one. Number 17, we got the Kansas City Royals. Let me put them on here.
This Kansas City Royals has been interesting, man. If they've shown flashes of not playing well recently, but lately they did win 2 out of 3 against the Astros, which was impressive. They're finding their ways again. They were off to a rough start, but they're 6-4 in their last 10. They're 1 game under 500. We expect better, but Seth Lugo definitely had a great performance this weekend. Cole Reagans has not been the best this season, but he'll bounce back. Yeah. And Michael Walker's still in the mix. They're just fine, man. It's too early. They're cruising right now.
Yeah. And I was going to say Seth Lugo did pitch a good game, but you already mentioned it, so that's a good thing. Did you know Sandoval was 34 years old? 33 years old. I thought he was a lot older.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
I thought he was a lot older. I thought he was like 36, 37, dude. He's still young. He looks like an old guy though, doesn't he?
The way he walks, definitely, right? It doesn't seem like he's that young anymore.
I think they need to start moving in the first base. But then if you move in the first base, who's going to be catching for you? Who's going to be catching those games and having that pitching the way they have it?
No, he's going to go straight to DH, bro. I think DH is the way to go for him.
For him? You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I think he needs to manage he'll be a good manager if he knows how to control the game back there. He looks like it. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to number 16, and we have the Reds at 16, and we do have Ellie De La Cruz there. He's been playing okay. He's been doing good. So why do we have him at 16, and why do we have the Royals behind them when they have a similar record?
Well, I think the Reds deserve to be there. Just a simple fact that they are playing over 500 right now. It's only 2 games over 500. They're not playing the best ball, but they've shown flashes offensively lately. with Austin Hayes, and he's been a great spark for them. Ellie De Cruz shows flashes of being an MVP player sometimes, but there's still some work that needs to be done there. I think Terry Francona definitely has them in the right direction, and it's a team that could get streaky, and because they've shown flashes of being quiet offensively, and there's times where offensively they just got it going on, man. Ovi Marte will be that star player they want him to be, even though he had a suspension. He's proving that he should be in the league.
Yeah, and the ERA, it's a little bit higher lower than it is for Kansas City, and that's why I kind of felt like they needed to be a little bit higher on that bracket. But 3.46 in the pitching that they have, I think they could do a lot better. They're going to get improvement once the season gets full on. A lot of people are still saying it's still early. They haven't faced anybody. They haven't done a lot of things. I think it's time to start really paying attention and really seeing how it's breaking down, because these divisions, there's a lot of teams that are not taking off yet. They haven't won like a bunch of games. All these teams have won enough games to be in first place, but they haven't taken off to where they're like, oh, we're not going to reach that team. And I think if that's going to happen, it needs to start happening right now. And I haven't seen it from no team. So the Reds can definitely catch up in the Central. The Cubs just, have been playing good baseball. They've been playing they've been stealing bases. They've been doing everything they need to do. But I think the Reds can match that energy. And I'm ready to see that series whenever it happens. So, yeah, man. Let's move on to the next one. And the next one, we have the Houston Astros.
Let me change that for you. Can we put the Blue Jays there?
We would put the Blue Jays? All right.
Just the simple fact that the Astros swept the Blue Jays this weekend. And I feel like the Blue Jays should go before the Astros. And it's just because, they had a great win on Friday against the Yankees, but them losing 2 out of 3 today, they got swept today. They lost the series 2 out of 3. They got swept by the Astros. I feel like they deserve to be there. The Blue Jays were playing good last week. And then this week they just turned it around, and now they're 3-7 in their last 10. Offensively, they're not playing that great. And now they have a tough matchup against the Red Sox coming up. So, I don't know what to expect from them. It's tricky. Blatty finally got paid, and he deserves it. But the other guys have to step up too. It just can't beat Blatty, and Bobichet and other players have to be that caliber players. They are.
You know what sucks though? When you have a game that you have to play like a double header, and you have to sit into the clubhouse for that long, and you're not. I mean, you know how it is, dude. It's not your clubhouse. You can't just lay down. You can't go to sleep wherever you want. If it was your clubhouse and you sleep because you have your beds or you have stuff around there that you're used to, then it's fine. But when you're away, rain delay, and then you don't play Saturday, you have to play us 2 games on Sunday. I think that has a lot to do with it. I know they lost, but I think moving forward, moving to the Boston Red Sox series, I think that one's going to be great. We're going to enjoy that one. I think there's going to be another good series. Dude, is it me or is it more that fans are making big things out of these series now? Like you hear it. Man. You hear it all over the place.
It's just there's some special matchups lately, man. And there's some star players facing star players. You got like the Pirates and Dodgers was like, who would ever thought a Pirates and Dodgers series would be that important? But the moment you have Schemes facing the Dodgers, it's much to watch TV.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It depends on matchups. Who's starting, who's playing, it all depends. But you got a good point there, man. Some matchups are definitely worth watching. All
right, so we moved the Astros to 14, right?
Yeah, let's do the 14, man. The Astros, they're the Astros. They're cruising right now. That's what they do. There's no rush. It's April. They're playing 14-13 right now. 14 wins, 13 losses. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They took the series from the Padres last weekend. They took the series against the Royals, and they swept the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays.
That's pretty good, man. And now they're heading to Detroit. Sorry, they will be playing at Detroit against the Tigers. So that's a must-watch matchup. AJ Hinch returning back to Houston again on the regular season. You guys got to remember the Detroit Tigers took down the Astros last season in the playoffs. So it's must-watch TV. This is a good one here.
Yeah. And there's 6 out of, you did say there's 6 of the last 10. They won 6 games, and they're doing good. I like them there. Are we going to see them move up? I got a feeling we are, because the Astros always find a way to win. And I don't know, dude. I don't want to see the Astros that high anymore, but I mean, that's what it is. It's baseball. The West is not as strong as other divisions. The Rangers are still trying to find themselves. The Mariners are still trying to find themselves. And of course, the Astros are trying to find themselves. So That division is up for grabs. Let's go to the next
For
one.
sure.
We got 13, and 13 we have the Diamondbacks, and I like this one, dude. I think the Diamondbacks, in my opinion, should be a lot higher, but because their pitching is not all that great yet, they did sign Corbin Burns. He should be there. He hasn't been pitching all that great, dude. And when you're looking at their pitching hasn't been as solid as it has in the previous years. And their hitting right now, their hitting is like, are they going to hit today? Are they gonna start getting runs in today? I know we saw Eugenio Suarez hit 4 home runs yesterday, which was impressive. If you haven't seen it, we have it all over our social media. It's impressive. He is the 19th player to do it, the second Latino to do it after JD Martinez. He did it with the Diamondbacks as well. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and do that. But at 13, do you like this one?
I definitely do. It's a Diamondbacks team that is scary offensively. When their bats are going, it's over. There have been times where they've been down by 5 or 6 runs, and that Diamondbacks offense just comes out of nowhere and catches right up. But then their bullpen blows it. Justin Martinez, AJ Pugnal's dealing with an injury. They've been having really big struggles there. Kevin Ginkgo is also struggling. So they got to figure it out soon because Torey Lovullo wants to win. Torey Lovullo, sorry. He wants to win. So he's going to put the best arm there to close out those games. So offensively, the D-backs are scary. Pitching wise, they still need a bit of work, but it's still early, man. That pitching arm, so Corbin Burns is adjusting to a different scenario. Eduardo Rodriguez will find his groove. Brandon Pfaadt, it's a guy that's a flip-flop. You flip a coin, you're going to get a good start or a bad start. Merrill Kelly's the same. And then you got an ace like Zach Gallen that's always going to be your true ace.
That's true.
We got Jamal saying, he's coming in. He's saying, can the Nats win a wild card spot this year? And if you just missed our, a couple minutes ago, we do have them ranked the number 20. This Nats team is really scary. They look very promising. And wouldn't shock me if I saw them overtaking the Phillies this year. Just putting that out there. It's it's a hot take, but it's a young team that it's scary. James Wood could definitely put the bat to ball really well. And the Phillies team, their window's closing really quickly, and I'm afraid that it could shut down real quick.
Yeah, and I did say that, the Nationals are a team to be reckoned with. I don't know if it's this year, next year, or the following year after that, because they did all those moves and they have been doing those moves. But yeah, Jamal, I would see them making that push, and maybe in the deadline, if they're close to trying to win the division, they'll make that move to make some pitching. I think pitching is what they need, and one more hitter, I think it'll be enough. But we'll wait and see, because it's too early to be talking about trades, but it's fun to talk about trades. You got me all excited about it.
Yeah, slowly the trading deadline is going to pick up, and teams are finally starting to realize what they need, right? So they're already making calls. It's only April, but teams are already picking up that phone line and trying to make some quick moves, some adjustments to get better.
Yeah. Just wanted to say that the Diamondbacks do have an ERA of, and going back to the Diamondbacks, they're number 13. They do have a team ERA of 4.38. They're 23rd. So as Ernie said, they do need to start pitching a lot better. And it's only April. So once we hit May, June, we'll start seeing some flashes of what they can really do. Because they're hitting this, right now is like they're on, they're off, they're on. And we're going to start seeing more consistency about this team. And we did pick them to win the wild card spot. Right now, they're not close, but they're there. I think they're still there. All right, let's move on to the next one. And number 12. Number 12, we want to put the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, you got to put the Rangers at number 12. It's unfortunate. They had a really rough week. They lost 2 out of 3 against the A's. One of them being a walkout. We mentioned earlier, Jacob Wilson. And then the Little League home run that the Giants did on them this weekend. Man, it was a bad day for a Ranger fan. It wasn't pretty. You lost on 3 walk-offs this week. So you lost a lot of close matchups. And they're sitting pretty at 12th place right now. They are 1 game behind the Mariners for first place. It's still early, but yeah, they should also show flashes. Jock Peterson hasn't done so well. Josh Young. There's a lot of people there not playing so well. Corey Seager's also a bit banged up now with a hamstring injury. Marcus Semien hasn't lived up to his expectations this year. So there's some big question marks, man.
Yeah. And it's their hitting, dude, because you got Tyler Mahle that's doing really good. and
Yeah.
they're pitching. DeGrom did good this last start, and he's. I mean, we talked about it last week. Their hitting is what needs to step up. Corey Seager needs to, when he comes back, if he comes back, hopefully soon. The Rangers really need him because the good thing for the Rangers is that they're not in a division where we don't have a clear winner for that division yet. We don't know who's going to take off. You said that the Mariners might win that one. I picked the Rangers on this one, maybe the Astros, but it's open still. And I think the Rangers are still in that close range, so they can go ahead and take off with it, or be close to the division. But only time will tell. At 12, I like them. I like them there, but I think they can be a lot higher. And I think once Corey Seager comes back and their hitting starts clicking, I think they'll be okay because their pitching's already there. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's go to number 11. And number 11, we have the Phillies. I know they just beat the Cubs. They won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. And why do we have them at 11? Because I think they fell off a little bit. After the Dodgers series, I feel like they started playing a little bit lower, and they haven't won series that often. They won this series, and they are above 500, and they have that great team, which we've been seeing these Phillies team coasting. And are they coasting right now?
Oh, there definitely are. There are a bunch of experienced players that already know the game really well. There's no rush for this. They could take it easy. Them being swept by the Mets early in the week was pretty bad.
Yeah,
You did not want to get swept against the Mets. It's your crosstown rival. They're not your crosstown rival, but your division rival, and you're trying to beat them, right? You don't want a Mets team overtaking you. And when you look at that Mets rotation, you're like, how are we losing to go Griffin Canning, Kodai Senga? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. That was a pretty tough blow for them. And their, bullpen is struggling bad as well. You're talking about they only have Matt Strom and Jose Alvarado, but Jordan Romano turned out to be a bad signing. And it looks like they should have brought Jeff Hoffman back because that was their guy. And they let him walk away. So, I don't know, man. This Phillies team scares me. Like I said, that window is closing quicker than we expected. And that's where I think the Nationals could overtake them and take that wild card spot.
Yeah, and I forgot that they got swept by the Mets, dude. That one was surprising to me that the Phillies went to New York, and I thought they were at least going to take 2 out of 3. And sometimes baseball is not what it seems like. I just felt like the Phillies had a better team at the time, but the Mets are playing a lot better baseball. They're playing small ball. They're stealing bases. Pete Alonso's hitting out there. The one that's not doing all that great is Mark, but we'll talk about when we hit the Mets. All right, let's go to the next one. And this is the top 10. We reached the top 10 in our power rankings. We got the Guardians. I know we have the old picture here. But
I know, I like that logo too much, but I'm not sure we could talk their own name. Yeah, man,
right.
The Guardians are looking pretty, man. They lose the series to the Red Sox this week. It's a tough one, but it's a Red Sox team that we know what they bring to the table. They were cruising early on, but they could definitely be that good of a team. And they did face the Yankees this week, and they took 2 out of 3, which was really impressive to me.
Yeah.
You do face New York and Boston back to back. That's a tough week for you. So after this weekend, you still sit at 15-12, 6-4 of your last 10. I think that's pretty good for a Central team. That's impressive because you didn't really spend much this offseason.
No, they didn't, and we're gonna start seeing if they left all their energy in this series, and if they're gonna continue to win or they're gonna just step down. They are playing the Twins this week, right? So we're looking forward to that series. If the Twins win that series, it's because they got tired out of this last series. So we'll see what happens. But at 10, I think they're fine. I think they're in first place, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Correct. All right, cool. Let's move to the next one. Number 9, we have the Seattle Mariners, and this is the first West Coast team from the AL to make the top 10. And this is the team you predicted to win the division.
So, I did.
Yeah,
it was a big surprise team, and people were like, "What? They suck offensively. They suck." Yes, they sucked last season. But have you seen Randy Arozarena? Every time there's a big moment up to plate, he's a guy, he brings in every run. That guy's special, talented. Julio Rodriguez still hasn't even played at his best game. You got guys like Dylan Moore, Cal Raleigh, and Jorge Polanco playing so much better this season. you feel like there's a special thing going on this year, even with losing George Kirby this early on this season. Logan Gilbert just got hurt, but there are still flashes of a Mariners team that could be scary if they get it right offensively. So, hey, man, number 9 for a Mariners team that's sitting in first place right now. It's really the last week of April, but this is where I saw them. This is why I was predicting them to be a big surprise this year.
And you see them finishing the season like this?
Yeah, I could see it happening, man. I really do. I think this is their year.
They need to go ahead and trade. They need to make trades. They need to make trades for hitting, and I mean that's what they need to do. But at 9 is good. I like them at 9. Let's move on to the next one. We have the Boston Red Sox at number 8. It's a little high, but I think a lot of people will enjoy that one.
Yeah, talking about Red Sox number 8, I think it's a perfect spot. Winning 2 out of 3 against the Guardians. It was a good one against the Mariners. Yeah, they lost the series, but like you said, the Mariners are also playing well.
Yeah,
and I don't know, man. This Red Sox team, overall talent wise, I still see them being better than the Mariners, even though they lost the series to them earlier in the week. It's just a Red Sox team that's deep. You talk about Alex Bregman playing the best he's played in a long time offensively. I'm gonna say it again. I think he's the best third baseman in the league. Don't come at me with Jose Ramirez. He's great, but he's not Alex Bregman defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
You got Austin Riley. We expected great things from him, but that's why I say Alex Bregman overall is the best player. He's a college World Series champion. I bet he won in high school, and he's a 2-time World Series champion. So at the end of the day, yes, he probably cheated, but he still had to put the bat to the ball and deliver. So, hey, man, this Red Sox seems scary.
It is scary, dude. And I haven't seen. I did see a game from the Red Sox this season already, but they got it. They got what they need to do, like to get there. I know they're number 9 in batting average when it comes. That's why we have them there at 8. Their batting average as a team, actually, it's at a 249, which it's pretty good. When everything above 250, I think it's a good thing for the team. Everything under, they're just a little bit under. That's why a little deep. But I think they can catch up to the Yankees, dude. I think they can. And if you remember, we picked them to win the division. So
yeah,
there's still a lot of baseball to play. But at 8, I think it's a good spot. Let's go to the next one. And this one dropped, man. This one dropped a lot. And a lot of people are concerned. A lot of people are quiet right now, and I'll just leave it at that.
No, I've also seen Padre fans concerned. They're ready to DFA Sander Bogarts. They're tired of him. He hasn't delivered. We had the scary incident with Luis Arias this week, and he hasn't played much this week. It's tough. You're losing to the Rays after going undefeated to start the season at home, 10-0, and now you lose 3 in a row to a Rays team that it's a bunch of young players. How is that even possible? We're playing great baseball. They also faced a tough Tigers team. I think they just had a long road trip on Houston and Detroit, and then coming back home. You're talking about players that are a bit older, like Manny Machado, Gavin Sheets. I don't know, man. Dylan Cease hasn't delivered as expected, but that bullpen looks great. Yeah. They'll be fine. I think the Padres will be fine.
Their bullpen is good too, dude. And don't forget about Merrill, dude. He's injured. I got a feeling that he's a big spark plug for the Padres, and because he's not there, it could mean that they're just not playing all the way through. And this is another veteran team that we've seen that they can go ahead and play really well in the playoffs. They can turn it on right away. As soon as the Dodgers show up, they start playing a lot better baseball. So when we see this match, because it hasn't happened, when we start seeing the Padres-Dodger matches, we're going to start seeing the Padres show up again, and they're going to start playing a lot better baseball. Yeah. But they did drop from number 1 all the way to number 7 because of them winning 3 out of 10, and that's not that great. But Are you concerned?
No, like I said, Jackson Merrill returning will just change everything. And there's at the end of the day, there's still 17 wins, 11 losses, only 1.5 game back from first place. It only takes a couple easy, series matchups coming up, and then they'll be fine. They're facing San Francisco Giants this week coming up. It's going to be a great matchup to see, we'll see how they fall going forward, or even get higher.
We'll see if the Giants are actually a playoff contending team, or we're going to see if they're really a good team. Why? Because the Padres are a playoff contending team. They've been there. They've been to the show. They know how to get there. So this new Giants team, they're going to get tested this week. So I'm excited to see that series too, man.
Yeah, let's
All right,
watch.
let's go to number 6. And the Yankees are number 6. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree. I know a lot of people are going to say, why are the Yankees number 6 if they're in first place? Well, I just feel like they haven't, played a team that's over 500. Um,
Yeah, you got a good point there. I'm looking
yeah,
at their schedule. The last time they played a good team was the Giants, the Tigers, and they lost both of those series.
both series, exactly.
The Diamondbacks, they lost to them the series too. So they've taken advantage of the poor weak teams, but the big matchups, like you said, Diamondbacks, Tigers, and Giants, they dropped all those series.
Yeah,
So that's
and
why I
that's
can't
what
put
they're
them
supposed
ahead.
to do, though. That's what they're
Yeah.
supposed to do. They're supposed to beat up on these teams, but they did lose to the Diamondbacks. They did lose to the Tigers. And who was the last one that they faced?
So the Diamondbacks, Tigers, and the Giants.
And the
Big
Giants.
series. Yeah. So, you had to win those. So
They
I
had
don't
to.
know, man. Devin Williams just lost his closer role today, and I'm not sure how Luke Weaver is going to perform there. That's a big pressure too. So the pitching, there's a lot of question marks. Luis Gill's coming back soon. Clark Schmidt hasn't been that great yet. The pitching frustrates me with the Yankees. Max Fried is the only good sign for them right now, and offensively, their torpedo bats are helping, so that's good for them.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard, but they said that Garrett Cole might pitch this season. I don't know if it's something to just the Yankee fans are saying so they can feel good about themselves. There is no way that's going to happen. The only guy that came early, and he's not even a pitcher, is Bryce Harper. So no one else can come in the same year and start pitching. But we'll wait and see if that's true. Let's go to the next one. We have the Tigers, man, and this team. I told you since the season started. And you said it as well. We didn't even pick them as one of the division's winners, or we didn't even pick them near winning the wild card.
Man,
we messed up on that one for sure. But Tyreek Skubal is pitching lights out. This team is not a team to like just roll over. I think this is a team we need to watch out for. I said it at the beginning of the season when they faced the Dodgers. This team gets on base, they start stealing bases, they start racing havoc at the base pads. But dude, at number 5, I think it's good. They could potentially be number 1.
Yeah, you're totally right. The bullpen. Let's talk about the rotation, pitching wise. Jack Flaherty's also came back.
Yeah,
Reese Olson. Those guys are pitching lights out these days, man. They're doing great things out there. The bullpen, Will Best, doing such a great job. Tommy Canley, a guy with the nastiest changeup in the game. There's no way you could beat this team right now. They're built to win. This AJ Hinch guy, man, he's one of the brightest minds in the baseball game. Trash cans or not, I think this guy could have taken that Astros to the World Series without it. So, and this is what he's doing with this. I think he has a lot to prove with his Tiger team. And if he's able to do that on a weak AO this year, he could go down as one of the best managers in the game. And you could ask yourself, did he really need those trash cans in Houston? He could have still taken that team to the World Series.
Dude, I've talked about this so many times that he did not need those trash cans to go into the World Series or be in the World Series with us, because that team, the Astro team that he had, was brilliant, was really good. And now I'm looking at this Tigers team, he doesn't need it, dude. He's a good manager. He moved Javier Baez from shortstop to center field. Javier Baez never plays center field. He's over there making nice catches, making it look super easy. So he moved him out there, and you know what personality Javier Baez has. He says he wants to play infield, but I guess Agent Hinch talked to him and said, you know what, we need you better in the center field, and we know you're going to play. And he's hitting too, dude. So whatever he's doing, keep it up. We want to see the Tigers keep climbing up. Number 5 is a good spot for them, but I do feel like they're going to get higher for them. Just watch. All right, let's go to the next one. We got the San Francisco Giants. And they have one of the most wins. They don't have the best record. They have the most wins, just tied with the Mets. And why do we have them at 4? We have them at 4.
I would have never saw this coming.
No, we don't. That's the problem. We didn't see this coming because we see them at 4 and we're like, why are the Giants so high? Why are they there? They just beat the Texas Rangers. They've been beating up on teams that are above 500, like the Yankees. They beat them out there in New York. So Is this scary? Do they need to be higher than 4 for you?
I think it's the right spot. Even though they're matched with the highest wins right now, um, there's 3 better teams out there talent wise, and like you said, they're doing okay, but they're barely winning for me. They're not doing like blowing teams out like that. You know, if you match them up with the Tigers right now, I'm not sure if they could even beat this Tigers team, but they have enough to win, and they're getting some lucky wins, yes. But hey, it doesn't matter.
A
You're
win's a
still
win.
you're still in first
Yeah.
place, and you could
Yeah.
something to brag about.
Yeah.
You know, this daughter team, it's ahead of them just because of talent wise. Yeah, the record, it's only a half a game. Think about that. You know, it's only April. That's why we have the Dodgers higher right now. But this Giant team, very promising, right in the right direction. And you know, Buster Posey and man, can't think of this guy's name. The manager. Oh my god,
Mhm.
the Giants manager, Bob
Then I'm
Melvin.
blanking. Oh, Bob Melvin, dude, I'm blanking out too. I'm like,
Sorry.
wait, what?
We passed the hour mark. I'm tired. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But yes, they're doing the right things. Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, Wilmer Flores leading the league with RBIs. They're
Yeah,
finding ways to win. It's
yeah,
perfect. I like how this team is built.
it is, and I think we're still not into the hype of them being a great team or a good team. I think that's why we have them at 4 instead of having them at number 1, tied for the most wins in the MLB. But I think at 4 it sits correctly. And if you don't agree, go ahead and put it on there, man. I want to hear your thoughts. I definitely do. Let's go
Right.
to the next one. And this one for me kind of dropped a little bit because they lost to the Phillies, but they've been
Man,
playing really good baseball, dude. The Cubs,
I
they
think yeah,
swept.
they had they swept the Phillies or taken the series from the Phillies, I think you could easily have put them at number 2 right now.
Yeah,
Just them dropping the series to the Phillies made me put them at 3. They're playing great ball, man. Offensively, Pete Carl Armstrong, man, he's a special player, man. It's great to see him do great things out there. The Cubs are just this spark, man. I didn't see it coming, and I think they're playing really great. They're just like a Giants team, gritty.
hmm
They find ways to find base hits, and they'll find a way to win. And it's pretty to see.
it
That
is.
Diamondbacks game to Kyle Tucker, man, what a special player they have there. It's a must-sign player, and Chicago has to do everything to get him for the future because he's
Yeah,
brought this spark to this team that they had not had since 2016.
yeah, they need to go ahead and sign him, and whatever he wants, they should give it to him. But he said he doesn't want to sign a contract during the season, so they're gonna have to wait. And he'll be dumb to sign something right now because the market's gonna be wide open for him, and teams are gonna just give him money. But we'll wait and see for that. But I agree with you. They're another team that are like the Giants. I don't know if this is they're peaking right now, and they're going to continue playing this way at the end of the season. Just like the Giants, we've seen the Cubs play this great and this good during the season, but then they reach at the end and then they start losing the games that they're important. And so at number 3, I think they're perfect. They did lose a series against the Phillies. I think if they would have won, it would have been easy number 2. But
Yeah.
they're
And the,
not there.
and the reason why I would have said number 2 is a simple fact that they've beaten the last 4 games against the Dodgers. They won all 4 games, and that's pretty impressive. But you losing
Definitely.
to the Phillies right now, man, I don't know. It's hard to put them on top over the Dodgers. Just a simple fact that I think the Dodgers still have a better record than the Cubs right now by
Yeah,
by
they
one
do.
game. It's just one game, so
One game. They would
this
have
is
won the
why.
series. They would have took them. They would have took them over because they did win this series. And you'd mentioned the Diamondbacks at series against the Cubs, but the Cubs against the Dodgers, it was back and forward too, which was
Wow, that was beautiful.
a good preview of what we can expect in the playoff if one of the or the both teams make it to the playoffs. So still a long way to go, but we do have number 2. We do have the Dodgers. What can we say about them? I think everybody knows what
Yeah,
type of team they are. And they haven't been playing all that great baseball. They criticize the Dodgers on Friday because they lost against Paul Skeens, but it's a baseball game. You can lose, you have to lose. You can't win 162 games. So
yeah. At the
so
end of the day,
yeah.
they're 18-10. They're sitting pretty, half a game behind the Giants right now. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They're so deep, Carlos. You saw the injury of Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell. They still have arms to bring up. They're not worried
Mhm.
about that. The moment Freddie Freeman's not playing well, don't worry. We got Andy Pajes is going to go off today. Don't worry. We got Oscar. They'll get you. Tommy Tanks will get you. They
Yeah.
got so many weapons. They'll find a way to beat you. The moment your star players are not performing, you got other guys that could pick it up. Besides Max Muncy, everybody could defeat you these days from that lineup.
If this was August, then you have some concern for these teams that are here right now, the Dodgers and the Yankees, because the Cubs, Giants, Padres, and Red Sox, and Mariners too. I'll just put the Mariners there. They're sitting right. They're sitting in the right spot. And if they're like that in August, coming up September, damn. And the Dodgers are sitting second in the power rankings for us. It's not good. It's all right.
We got
Who do we have left?
Skeens was crazy good. When is he a free agent?
5 more years.
5 more years, huh? I think so too. Yeah, 5 more years.
5 more years.
But you're talking about the last team, number 1. And could it be potentially the New York Mets? I did not see this coming. If you ask me, man, I was really concerned with their pitching starting the season, and they proved me wrong again. Man, I guess I don't know my baseball, because this Mets team, pitching-wise, is doing great. Kodai Senga, Griffin Canning. Man, who else do they got in there, man? They got just arms coming in there, just throwing, and they're finding ways to win.
Yeah, and they have the number 1. Trevor Miguel, he's doing Miguel. I don't know how to say it. They have the number 1 ERA in all of baseball, 2.53, dude. That's why they're sitting on top. And then you have, Lindor hitting home runs. You have Pete Alonso, doing what he's doing. A lot of people are saying Juan Soto's not doing enough, but just his plate appearance is nerve-wracking for the opposition pitcher. So that's creating havoc in itself. So for all of you that are dogging Soto, I think it's time to start learning a little bit more baseball and understanding what his presence at the plate means. Because when you have Soto taking pitches and worried about what pitch you're going to throw him, then you forget about Lindor and you forget about Pete Alonso, and that's where they're hurting you. So, I mean, I think the Mets, dude, it's scary, dude. I do see the Mets. I didn't pick them to even make the playoffs, dude. I think this year, yeah.
We're really
them sitting at 1. It's crazy.
And it's a team that it's playing really well, like you said. Their bats, like Mark Vientos, hasn't even picked it up yet.
No,
but Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto and the 1-2 punch, man, that's scary. Peter Alonso's playing much better. And looking back, they did the right moves bringing Pete Alonso back. You know, he runs funny, but he could put the ball to bat, and he has that bat. And the pitching, Clay Holmes, what a great pickup, man. Getting him from the Yankees, making him a starter. Griffin Canning, bringing him from the Braves and Angels, a guy that was doubted. And, he has shown flashes, but these guys with the New York Mets are doing great. Carlos Mendoza has his team playing great baseball. And, Juan Soto hasn't been himself. He's finding ways to adjust. It's like everything. When there's change in your life, it's going to take you a while to finally get it going. And I think Juan Soto will find his way. Yes, he's not batting 300 like he once was, but he doesn't have the same protection like Aaron Judge. And we know that. But this guy knows that there's enough depth and enough help around to still make the playoffs and still make some noise. So now I'm really excited to see a Mets-Dodger matchup coming soon, and it must be much watch TV. This Mets is going now to face the Nationals tomorrow to finish the series. Right now they're down 2-1, but I think they probably should win tomorrow and even out the series after losing on 2 walkouts. This national team got sneaky lucky this week, so this is why we're still giving the Mets the benefit of doubt.
Yeah,
they're playing great ball, and they're playing better than the Dodgers and Cubs right now.
They are, and we will have to wait and see. Maybe next week it will change. I do see a lot of things jumping around, like more than 6-7 spots, because it's so early in the season. As the season starts closing, we'll start moving teams, but maybe 2 spots will be I guess will be kind of the greatest, or 3 spots will be the greatest moves we'll make, because even the other power rankings, they're moving their teams like 6-7 spots, just like we are. So if you didn't like our spots, just let us know. Put it on there. We'll post it on Instagram. We'll post it on TikTok. We're going to post it here on YouTube as well. And we'll put clips of our videos. But we went over the hour mark, Ernie, and we had a lot of stuff to talk about. We talked about all 30 teams. It's a little bit harder to do the 30 teams as opposed to doing the top 10. So if you guys like us doing the top 30, cool. If you guys like us doing the top 10, let us know as well. I think it's good information for us. That way we can focus on the top 10 and not the top 30. So any last mentions, Ernie, go ahead.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to our show. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. We hope to catch you every Sunday night here talking baseball with us. And then we got Will Power on Thursday nights, breaking down our fantasy baseball knowledge out there. Check it out. I know most of you guys play fantasy baseball here. Want to know who your 2-star pitchers are, your waiver wire pickups, player breakdowns. We have a lot of exciting news here. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers soon. And, we're excited. And we just want to say thank you from our bottom of our hearts, because this channel continues to grow. And we're happy to be building a baseball community with you guys. And, one day we hope to hang out with you guys and go to a live game and just watch baseball. That would be perfect, Carlos, right?
Yeah, it would be. Or even, do a carne asada or a barbecue or something with the people that listen to us and just hang out, talk baseball, or talk anything other than just baseball. We can talk sports. I think we have a good knowledge on sports, and the Lakers did lose today, which kind of sucks, but we'll get to see one more game, or maybe they'll come back and we'll see what happens. But from all of us here on Real Talk Baseball and Carlos Baseball, this is Ernie Orange, Real Talk Baseball, signing out.